Hello YouTube, my name is Don from the YouTube channel, The Bitter Hiker. Today we are at Craggy Dome in North Carolina. It's right off the Blue Ridge Parkway. Pretty quick hike. Right now we are at 5,640 feet. The hike up to the dome, which is at 6,085 feet, it's not too bad. There are some steep sections, but easy to traverse. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been to the channel before, as always, welcome back. Please click like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get this hiking. So this video is one of those few times where I felt either nature was playing a mean trick on me or I just had bad luck. I can assure you, as I was driving to this location, the sun was shining, the sun was out. There were views to be seen on all sides of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and then just as I was approaching this Craggy Dome hiking trail, a weather system blew in. Now remember, we're very far up in the mountains. We're at 6,085 feet up in the air, so we're pretty high up. But I wasn't expecting the weather to change that quickly, so I was initially disappointed when I got to the parking lot and saw that the clouds were right over the parking area. The cars were covered in mist, and the visibility was down to zero. You could basically see nothing. And then I was most disappointed with the wind, because when I record, or as I hike and I'm trying to record, the wind noise would just drown out everything I said. So initially I was very disappointed, but I was already there, so I decided to just continue on with the hike. But then something happened. As I was hiking, you start to notice different things that call into perspective what it is like living in this area. Plant life having to grow in this area where it's very windy all the time and it's always wet and the conditions change. You begin to see things like moss on the trees. You begin to realize the shape of the trees. A lot of the trees were bent in a particular direction, as if they were blown with the wind in that direction. So all of a sudden my focus changed. And even though, yes, I would have loved to see views and would have loved to see what the distance looked like being at the top of Craggy Dome, you really started now to hone in on what the surrounding area looked like. I was not the only person on the trail. There were quite a few other people on the trail, as you can see. And a lot of them came a lot more prepared than I was. People had jackets on and scarves, and they had, you know, their little hats and everything. I just had on a very thin sweater, and I had a t-shirt on under. I was not freezing, because as I was walking along, you know, my body temperature was going up, but I could have been a little better prepared for this hike. And as I mentioned, you can see that the trees, a lot of them are bent, you know, because of the force of the wind. I would assume kind of pushed these trees into this shape. And the trail, very well defined. Definitely wouldn't recommend this for someone who has mobility issues or who have problems climbing or navigating stairs, because there were a ton of stairs, and the stairs, the material for a lot of the stairs were rock, but then there were places where they placed granite. So with the dew from the rain or the moisture from the rain falling on it, it was slick in a lot of places. And then there were a lot of logs and stuff that you would have to cross over on the trail as well. A lot further up?
Not much further, no.
Okay, cool.
A little foggy up there, though.
Yeah, thanks.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. I think as I do the hike, I tend to enjoy talking to some of the people on the trail. So oftentimes I'll make like small conversations, just try to figure out, well, how much further do I have to go on the trail to get to the main viewing point or something like that. So oftentimes I'm interacting with people on the trail, and oftentimes people are very nice and they return the compliment. But here we are, we're still climbing upwards, going up toward the top of Craggy Dome. We're between these trees that kind of look like mangroves. If you've ever been to the beach and you've seen the mangroves, and you know, they have this certain look about them. These trees kind of gave me that look of a mangrove swamp. And then all of the trees, on the bark of the trees, there was a lot of dew. And now as we're getting closer to the top of Craggy Dome, you can see that it's gotten a lot rockier and a lot steeper at the same time. But the total hike going up to the top took no more than 15-20 minutes, if that. But once you got to the top, as you get closer and closer to the top and you get more and more exposed to the elements, you can really feel the true force of the wind. And then once you got to the top, then you really felt the wind. So we are at Craggy Dome, 6,085 feet above sea level. It's windy, it's cold, it's misty, you barely can see anything. But this is Don from the Better Hiker. Peace out, see you on my next hike, see you on my next adventure. Like the video, subscribe to the channel.